those are questions for committee members, or I don't know. I really don't. I'm kind of miffed by it myself.
Do you guys get a chance to talk to the committee ever, maybe even in the off season, about this stuff?
No, that'd be questions more for Matt Larson to go through with Patty and stuff. But no, we don't as coaches.
What's the threshold, Chris, on Carson coming back? Does he have to be 100%, 80%? What do you be the starting quarterback at?
Well, I don't think the likelihood of him coming. I don't think there's a real likelihood of him coming back. I think he has another MRI in 2 weeks from his last one, so that puts us in early to mid-December, and even from there, it's still a progression. It's a different injury because it's a wrist on your throwing hand, and so there's a lot of things have to happen, Jeff, and it'd be hard for me to speculate simply because he hasn't been cleared other than to squeeze a tennis ball and maybe play catch with a little Nerf ball. I don't know. I think he's probably a case study himself because I don't know if this injury to a wrist has happened to a quarterback. I don't know how that's going to affect him throwing the ball.
So people want to know, would it be if he was healthy? Would he be the starting quarterback?
I'm not even going to answer that. There's no reason to talk about that.
Coach, on SDSU in Montana, I know you're going to look at film rather more and more throughout the couple of days, but how have they changed since you've seen them last?
Well, SDSU's playing two quarterbacks. That's probably the biggest thing if you look at with them. And I haven't had a chance to watch any film today because I've had some other meetings. But I know they're in a true two-quarterback system, so that makes you have two different game plans. From what I understand on Montana, once again, I haven't been able to look at them this morning yet, but Gustafson's back, and I know there was a struggle in there for them mid-season, and from what I understand, he didn't play. And with him back, I thought he was an exceptional quarterback and threw the ball extremely well. And if he's healthy and playing at a high level, they're difficult to defeat.
You guys come out of the Missouri State game pretty okay health-wise?
Yeah, Levi Jordan, we did lose. He'll have surgery this afternoon on a knee meniscus. Once again, you don't know until you get in there if it's a partial tear where they can, cut a little bit out and be out 2 weeks, or if it's a major one. They'll know more later on this afternoon. He's the one I know we lost. We anticipate having CJ and Jordan Champion back late this week, if not early next week.
You mentioned Carson being maybe a case study in the injury because a quarterback hasn't had that. He has a career beyond NDSU. Is that what you're talking about? That could be a concern going on?
I think so. I think so. But, until he's able, and I don't even know when that is, until he's able to truly go out and throw the football and play catch and some of those things, and I don't know when that is because it's not going to happen until after his next doctor's appointment, which is a minimum of 2 weeks away. I don't know how it's going to, how he's going to react to it.
Coach, can you just talk about Darius Anderson, his journey just coming from Hawaii, then Valley City, and then come here to NDSU? Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, he came to us one of my first years here and was our scout team running back, was a really electric player and walked on and did a great job of giving us a tremendous look with speed and quickness and stuff. And then he's earned a scholarship now and he's get really good hands out of the backfield. He gives us a change of pace back on some of our perimeter run game stuff, and he's accepted his role. He's a guy that is always warranted a few touches during the game, and I've been really, really pleased with how he's played over the last couple of years.
Greg Menard had a monster game on Saturday. Do you feel like he and Brad are pretty much all the way back from what they were dealing with earlier in the season?
I think we still need this week. Both those guys are still a little beat up from an injury previous, and they won't practice this week, probably either one, Greg or Brad. Brad's got a hip flexor, Greg's groin that he received during Indiana State. We've been kind of, giving him very few reps in practice, but he needs some time to get healed because I think he's a pretty special player, Greg is, and he's proven that, and he's really improved throughout the season. And for us to be successful in the postseason, he has to play at a high level.
Defense as a whole, you guys produced some big momentum plays on Saturday. You think back to the start of the year, some of the questions surrounding that unit. How far have they come as a group?
Well, we've gotten a bunch better, and we talked about that after the Montana game. I thought we would continue to improve, and we have. And MJ Stump's playing at a really high level right now, a guy that doesn't get mentioned a lot. MJ is doing a phenomenal job at the linebacker position. He's so comfortable there, as well as Trey Dempsey's playing at a real high level at the safety spot. And, we talk about our defensive line. Those guys have continued to grow, continued to improve, continued to get better, and we're playing 6-7 guys in there, so we're staying fresh. And for us to be successful moving forward, we have to continue to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And really, for the most part, the last 5 games, we have won the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Probably the one that would have been more equal would have been Youngstown State, but we kind of fought through that.
How important was it to get Dakota Reed and Jalen Allison a game, almost the entire game together as the corners?
Yeah, it was really important for those kids to continue to grow within our system and just evaluate it. They made a lot of young player mistakes, but I think they have potential to be pretty good. They need another spring, another summer from Coach Kramer's program and stuff, but them just understanding our system, for those guys to get 45, 50 snaps was really crucial for those guys' development.
We got more out of Nate Moody this year than maybe anticipated.
Yes, Jeff, definitely. I was hoping we'd get something out of Nate, and I'm really proud of Nate because he could have easily hung it up. And even in the spring, I was watching him jog around. He couldn't run very well in the summer. He was, Coach Kramer held him out almost all summer from a running progression, and then we practiced him about every other day in August. And the kid so much wanted to be a part of his senior class, wanted to fight through it and play. Nate's one of our best blockers as a wide receiver, and he's come up with some critical catches. And I'm really happy for Nate to be able to finish his career out and have a successful senior season.
When you say I couldn't run, I mean literally he looked like
It
Willis
just
Reed
was
kind of
painful, just really painful, and then wouldn't last very long in a 2-hour fall camp practice. We'd have to cut his reps back because it's just, and I don't know where, but he just always would have sharp pains in his knee, and so we've cut back some on Nate, and if he's hurting really bad, he'd never let you know.
We're having a discussion. Are you feeling okay? Do you want to continue this?
We had the discussion before the season started, and because if not, we were going to maybe medical him and not have him go through all the stuff, and he wanted to give it everything he had, and I wanted Nate, if he could help us in any way, because he has great leadership, he has tremendous toughness, he'd help some of our young wide receivers. And going through fall camp, we were going to talk before school started, and he said, "Coach, I'm ready to go. I can help us this year," and he's been a great help for us.
Coach, compared to some of the teams in the past that have had this first round bye, this group is probably a little bit relatively inexperienced when it comes to the playoffs. Do you use the same formula that you guys have? Do you treat the bye the same as you have in years past, or different?
No, you have to treat it the same, more so from a coaching perspective, too, of the things that we need to get done as coaches, as well as 90% of the guys at least have been around here, whether they have been an integral part of playing every snap like Shatsy or Joe Haig, or a guy that is pretty new to it like Grimsley or Bruce Anderson. You just need to keep your same routine. The guys are really routine oriented in the playoffs, and they also they need to be rewarded with a top 4 seed and a Missouri Valley championship to be able to get some rest and be able to get their bodies healed up, because each game will be a gauntlet.
Why the uptick in production from Jeff Elias over the last couple of games?
He just is more and more comfortable. Jeff's a young player that, we're doing a lot of different things with Jeff, and Jeff doesn't have the body size of an Andrew Bonnet, but in the same respect, we're having Jeff's hand on the dirt. We're putting him at fullback. We're putting him at wide receiver. That's a lot of stuff. I mean, Coach Polisek's spitting out a formation that's 5 sentences long, and Jeff's got to understand all that stuff. Andrew Bonnet gets it. Lucas Alberts gets it because they're fifth-year seniors. Jeff's a young guy, and it's starting to click for him. And the more confident and comfortable you are, the better you play.
What's your schedule like then for Saturday? Are you guys going to practice in the morning and then watch the game, or do you guys watch the game together, or coaches?
Well, we'll let the kids go on Wednesday after practice. If they want to go home for Thanksgiving, and a number of people will, and the ones that can't, we'll take care of them here. And then we'll bring everybody back on Saturday. We won't have them back till 5. Some of them will be back anyway, and we'll watch the game in the team room. As coaches, we'll be up in the offices just going through our normal game plan stuff, doing practice cards and things like that. And when the game ends, we'll wait about a half an hour, 45 minutes to regroup all of our scripts and all of our practices that all the coaches have to get done, and we'll go out and practice. So it's a lot of work for the coaches, and I firsthand know it because I had to do it for 3 years. You have a group of 100 cards for this team and a group of 100 cards for this team, and at 5:15 or 5:30, you're going to take 100 of those and throw them in the garbage. And you're going to take those next 100 and you're going to go out and practice from 7 to 8 or 6:30 to 8. And but we feel that's a formula that's worked for us, that when whoever we play, they're getting on a plane or a bus or wherever to get back to the airport, and we're practicing against that opponent, and gives us maybe just a little bit of an advantage. Then we'll take off Sunday and we'll start our routine back again on Monday.
There have been a number of top teams that have lost their quarterbacks this year. Villanova, I think JMU, Montana for a stretch. You guys lost who you call the best player at FCS, and yet you've won 5 games with them. Is that on Easton's talent and readiness? Is that on the teammates? Is it on great coaching? Is it what? I mean, that's all
Great coaching.
I gave you that. Well, I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
It really is.
And you go 5-0.
Yeah, and that's where I know as a coaching staff, really proud of what they've been able to accomplish as coaches and players to get everybody rallied behind a young quarterback. But after we learned that Carson wouldn't be here or wouldn't play anymore, we brought all the team together and said, hey guys, we're going to rally around Easton and Cole, and you still have to have 2. And we're going to rally around those guys, but we need to play better at all positions. I credit Easton Stick because he's prepared himself every week when Carson was playing, that he is that next play away from being able to go in there and be effective. And so his mental makeup, he was ready to go. And then physically, we probably just adjusted some stuff we do on offense to incorporate the quarterback run a little bit more, to incorporate running the football in general a little bit more. And in doing that, we also controlled the clock a lot more. And then defensively, we weren't on the field as much, and our defensive line has really gotten better as the season's gone on. So I think it's a combination of everything you just said.
Are you a better offense with Easton at quarterback?
We're
because you're
different. I think that's a better thing. We're different. Everything's matchups. I don't know how well Easton would have done against South Dakota State, how they matched up, or Northern Iowa, how they matched up. Carson was a great matchup against those particular teams. Easton ended up being a really good matchup against some of these teams that probably didn't defend the quarterback run as well, or weren't expecting the quarterback run as much as we did with Easton. And so I don't know. I wouldn't say we're better. We're just different, and we're relying more on the offensive line, which we knew in the beginning of the season was a strength of our team. And after 5 weeks, we challenged those guys, said, you are going to be the group that makes a difference. And so I've been really impressed with the offensive line of helping Easton make it easier on him.
How's the health of Champion and Smith?
Well, there's no way they could have played last Saturday. We tried to practice Champ on Thursday with his hamstring, and he couldn't go. And so we shelved him the rest of the week. There was a potential he was going to maybe be able to go. I think Jordan will be okay by next Saturday. CJ had his knee scoped after the Youngstown game because it was just aggravating him for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And you could tell that from a coaching perspective, as far as CJ was still playing at a high level, but he was having a bunch of swelling and a bunch of soreness after the game, and we needed to alleviate that. And so not knowing when we would play, we elected to do it right after the Youngstown game, in hopes we could beat Missouri State and get the bye. It would give him 2 weeks. If we weren't fortunate enough to beat Missouri State, we thought there would be a chance he could play this Thanksgiving game. And so it probably worked out best because he's getting an extra week. And we're going to run CJ later this week. And my envision is he'll be 100% come next Monday or Tuesday.
Is that pretty much meniscus? Or?
No, he had the meniscus surgery in April, and it was more just kind of cleaning up around it. The meniscus, they said, was in great shape. So when they went in there, I don't know all medical terms what they did, but they said the meniscus was in great shape, did some cleanup, and they think it'll be good to go.
So you're pretty optimistic they'll be ready for it?
Yep, absolutely, they'll be ready. Yep.
Coach, as this team progressed the way you thought back in August that we're going to get better each and every week, that we're to the point where this is what I envisioned in August?
Yes, it really has. And the main reason is our offense and defensive line. The offensive line has remained healthy, which, we lost Zach and lost Big Jack for a while, and that was difficult because we didn't have that rotating guy, and we're playing all 6 of those guys. So those guys staying healthy has made us a lot more efficient offensively. And then defensive line, guys like Stanley Jones and Aaron Steidel, Grant Morgan, Caleb Butler, giving us some snaps have enabled the 4 starters to get just enough of a break and enough of a blow to keep those guys fresh. And I've been really pleased with the development and growth of Greg and Brad, who were spot starters last year, that they've really taken their game to another level and become, I think, all conference caliber type players. Nate and Brian are dynamite. I think they're the best pair of defensive tackles in the league. And if we can keep those guys fresh, we're going to have a better chance because our front 4 is pretty doggone good.
You've got a lot of players who have done great things through adversity and overcome a lot, played with chips on their shoulders. I can't imagine that a 3 seed, full Missouri bracket, forced to have rematches doesn't motivate some of these competitive guys. Do you let them use that as these weeks progress?
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit, more the Missouri Valley side of things. I'll be honest, the 3 seed, you could have put us at a 2, you could have put us at a 3, you could have put us at a 4. That is what it is. But our guys, more in the fact of, okay, we're putting all of us in one side of it. It's going to be a Missouri Valley Conference tournament potentially, and there's some other good teams in this. Portland State, Montana's, and several others that I'll probably miss on. There's enough teams in this that it's a really competitive side of the bracket. But we just know, because we've played all these Valley teams as well as Montana, how heavy this side is.
Is this team fresher going into last year? Because remember you said, Dudzik and Hegel, all those guys played so many games that by the end of the year you felt like they're just kind of had reached the end of the road. Is this team fresher going in?
Yeah, we are definitely fresher going in. Heags and Duds were battling injuries all last year. Everybody remembers last year when we were sitting here, we were going to decide what we were going to do at linebacker because we lost Travis the last game of the season. We're healthier at linebacker. I still think depth-wise, where we do have the depth is in the defensive line, which helps us. We don't have a ton of depth at linebacker. We haven't, we're going to play those 3 guys. Jalen Allison gives us a little bit of depth. Andrew Smith gives us a little bit of depth there. I think we have more weapons on offense this year. We don't have the John Crockett that you're going to give it to 30 times, but we do have probably more weapons, not only in the slot, but in and out of the backfield. I like the fact that, we can rotate or play 3 running backs. I thought Chase looked healthy, and he'll this week, we'll rest him a bunch this week, because for us to be really good offensively, Chase has to be a multiple player. He has to be a running back, he has to be a little bit of a fullback, and he has to be a slot receiver, and can't just go in the game when they say, okay, you guys are going to run some wheel routes and some other things or pass protection. And so Chase's health will make us better too offensively.